name is Grace, and I'm going to do a video about validation. And I have done one video, and it depends on which channel I put this on. But on my main channel that I did it about, it is mainly about narcissistic abuse. I did a video about validation that was what the world needs now is validation. And you know, like the song, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Isn't that the song? Yeah. But yeah, and it comes from years ago. People had it was like, you know, something that was going around. People were talking about that you don't need validation, you don't need external validation. You know, you validate yourself and all that. Now, I do believe that you should, to some degree, validate yourself. You know, don't become narcissistic, and it's all about you. And you know, but external validation, it would be a part of it too. But we all need some. My view is we all need some external validation. Not an excessive amount. And who can say what is excessive, right? In either way, you know, to do just to validate yourself or have others validate you. But I do believe we need both. We need to do both. Can't state how much. I'm not, there's someone who could tell that. I don't think there is anybody on this planet who can tell you how much is right. Really, seriously. I was thinking about this last night in the way of, you know, like what it brought me to was this, like, say you've been homesick, you know, maybe you've been homesick getting over the flu and it was a couple weeks or whatever. And, you know, nobody was there. Nobody lives with you, or you were alone. Nobody wanted to be around you, or they didn't want to get the flu, whatever was the case. You know, it could be that you were just recovering from something else. Sure, you know, you might have had phone calls with people, and so you had some kind of, you know, access to other people, or maybe not. Maybe you were just so sick you didn't want to talk to anybody, you didn't want to have anything to do with anybody. Now me, whenever I'm sick, I really don't care to have communication with others. Sometimes, you know, I like to just be left alone and let me heal. You know, I don't want anybody's, you know, sympathy, empathy, whatever, which is probably wrong for me not to want, but yeah, I like to be left alone. Now, some people don't. So anyway, say that was the case for you, and you were at home and you couldn't, you know, you didn't have any access to anybody else. Well, access is the wrong word. Basically, you've been alone, you know, and then you start feeling better. And what's the thing that many of us, I think, do once, you know, we start getting over something, is we need contact. We need to be out in the real world, you know, get out of the house. We can call it anything, you know, cabin fever, and that does happen. I've had cabin fever. You know, we just need to get out. We feel, you know, some of us, not everybody, you know, get out in the real world, be around other humans, and because really, humans are social beings. You know, take it from a sociologist. I could have taught at college and university, sociology, social behavioral sciences. And, yeah, you know, we need other people. We need contact. But if you really think about it, some of it is we need validation. Okay, and it could be just somebody saying, I go into the store, or if I, you know, if this happens, and somebody might try to get around me or needs to move, you know, move around me or something, and they'll say, excuse me, ma'am. You know, that is, you know, somebody saying, hey, I see you, you're alive. And I know this is stretching it, but yeah, for some people, like I said, if you have been at home and you haven't been able to get out, that could be something big for you. It really could. You know, think about it. It's not for everybody, but yeah, for some people it is, that they had been validated they exist. And plus, I was just thinking this because I was in a store and a young woman kept saying, ma'am, yes, ma'am. You know? And that ma'am also is kind of like, well, it isn't kind of like, it's the whole looking glass self. Society tells you where you stand in a way. You know, I'm a, you know, older woman. She's young enough to be my daughter. So, you know, it's an acknowledgement plus, say somebody has been kind of isolated for whatever reason, maybe long-term isolation, it lets them know where, like I just said, where they are in society. Does that make sense? Their age group or their, the respect or deference, whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? It kind of lets you know. It lets you know it's like not really a milestone, but yeah, just where you are in the world. It's kind of like a check. Also it can be. If you've been isolated, I don't know of anybody who's ever been totally isolated. I'm trying to put my shoe on here, my boot. But if you've been isolated, and say you haven't really been around, or you just haven't been around many people in years, and you've gotten older, like I'm 55, and people, somebody, it can be a shock to you if you go out and somebody, how did you feel the first time somebody called you ma'am? Some of us say, whoa, now I'm at ma'am stage, I remember when I don't remember the situation, I just remember thinking, wow, I'm a ma'am now. I live in Texas. Ma'am is something that you might hear. But you see what I'm saying? It kind of regulates you. Like when you're a child, you're going through school, grade school, all that. You know what grade you're in. And you're with, or at least where I went to school, you're with people your same age. Your same age. Now, it might be like, you're some are 17, some are 18, but yeah. And the grade, that would be seniors, and underneath it would be, juniors and stuff. And all of them around the same age. But when you get out into the work world, it doesn't go like that. If you go to college isn't even like that anymore. It's not all traditional students. And what was considered at one time traditional age students, it's no longer. But yeah, so you have that. You don't have that once you get out to us, out in the work world or out in the world. Okay, you no longer have that way of validating what age you are and what stage you are in life, or where you compare yourself to what other people, stages and ages they're in, their age and their stage. You see what I'm saying? I've been thinking about this again. We do need some form of, looking glass self. We need some form of validation. That to me is a form of validation. But there's also more than that to it. There's a lot more to it, and I will never get it on one video. It can be anything from like, are you, that would be your social development meets, your attitude meets your age. Me, sometimes I'm much younger than what my age is. I'm well aware of it. I've been known too many people far too much of my life that did the thing of infantilize me, treat me like a child. And it did for me, in a way, stunted my growth. But not all, it's not in everything. When I need to be, I can be my age. But it's sometimes not really conscious even, but sometimes, yeah. I can see myself every once in a while, especially around certain people or certain situations, or even talking about certain topics, that I can feel that pull back to a younger age. That makes sense. This video up before I go on too far, but there's a lot more to this. Validating like somebody validating that you've done something good. Really, and I like I said earlier, it's not like you need it constantly. Okay, and I can't tell you how much you should need and how much exactly you shouldn't need. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to wrap this up. If you want to subscribe to this channel and you haven't already, click the circle. If you want to watch another video on this channel, click on the rectangles. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you would, and I'll talk to you on another video.